Okay, the second Rugby League test between England and New Zealand has finished 20 points to 14 to England. Although at half time and about a quarter way through the second half, I wasn't sure this was going to be England's day. First half, yes, we get a penalty on 6 minutes, and Jake Connor, whose only successful kick at goal, he slots it. Returning to Lesniak on 8 minutes, his try, that's a carbon copy of his try from last week. So the right hand side defence of England needs looking at. A lot of overplaying the ball as well on the right side of England. A lot of drop ball, a lot of stop-start first half. But Sean Johnson gets that conversion, and this is what I'm going to come back to later on. The fact that England are very, very lucky again to get this win, I think, considering the amount of missed kicks. But Tommy Makerson's first try on 38 minutes starts a trend here down England's left. But Jake Connor misses a difficult conversion. Both Connor and Lomax really involved in the build-up for all of Makerson's tries. They have a good going. I think those three definitely down the left, good combination there. And Tommy Makerson, some of his defensive play as well, for probably the smallest guy on the field for England, stopping players like Kevin Proctor. He did several key defensive tackles, really putting his body on the line. Brilliant play. Jordan Rapana had a disallowed try where, well, it wasn't really disallowed. He came up a little bit short. It went to the TMI, but he was millimetres short. He did injure his shoulder, which we'll come back to in the second half. So we're 6-2 at half time. New Zealand, okay, would have liked to have gone in 6-2. A slight momentum swing, but in the second half, they come out on top, and Kemba Marlowe scores a try in 45 minutes. And I feared the worst at that point. And Sean Johnson converts. Then Darryl Clark has come on as an interchange forward to give that extra bit of zest around the forward pack alongside the rest of the forwards. And he gets injured in 49 minutes. So Hodgson has got to play a full 80 because there's no other. And Darryl Clark's injury looks bad, real bad. Definitely done his ribs in, possibly broke some ribs. Definitely done the cartilage in. He's not playing next week. He was hurt. And then Sean Johnson, whatever happened in that passage of play, there was a penalty, I think possibly for offside, and Sean Johnson slots the penalty on 49 minutes. At that point, the scoring is going in New Zealand's favour. They've come out like a freight train in the second half. They are dominating the play. England looking a bit at sea. Then there's a late hit. Now, this is the last time New Zealand scored. They're 14-6 up. They are dominating the play. Tompkins goes on the last tackle to kick. He kicks. He's hit late, although he does leave his foot up. So I wouldn't be surprised if the guy giving the late hit and himself are both cited for foul play. There is a bit of a coming together of players. Basically, a fight breaks out. Play's continuing. Makinson's got the ball. No one else is watching him. He could have run in and scored a try, and it would have been given because the referee said play on. Anyway, that bit of male bonding, and I'll call it male bonding because we don't know if any punches. No one was put on report for it. And in international rules, you can actually still have a bit of a biff. So we'll see what happens. There was technically two separate rules. Penalties given. Within 2 minutes, Tommy Makinson scored his second try. Again, Lomax and Connor in the build-up, but Connor misses yet another kick at goal. Again, far from the touchline, but he's not getting his kicks at goal. Then there was the Burgess disallowed try, where, again, the benefit of the doubt was given to the defence because of the call on the field with no try from the referee. So you have to go with the benefit of the doubt for either the defence or attacking side, depending on what the referee feels there is or isn't a try. Couldn't see the grounding, believed it was lost in the attempt. So I think that's fair enough, but it did show that England were now on top. New Zealand had either allowed the aggression to go to them, they were trying to make big hits all the time, they were leaving themselves all at sea. Then Jake Connor gets a brilliant try as well, down the left. New Zealand's right-hand side defence is shot at this point. Whether Jordan Rapana is still feeling that shoulder from the first, I don't know, but he's definitely feeling it on 68 minutes when he makes a try-saving tackle, which... properly try-saving tackle, and in the process of trying to make that tackle, he's either dislocated his shoulder and collarbone, broken his forearm or wrist, or done both. And I think it's both. The way he was holding his arm, he is definitely broken his wrist, and he's definitely dislocated his collarbone shoulder area. So he was his right arm is not good, and he's going to be out for a long period of time. He did walk off, but he didn't look comfortable at all. He looked really uncomfortable. Three physios around him, two of them supporting his arm. That is bad, doesn't look good. So second serious injury of the game. And by that point, when Makerson gets his third try, that is individual brilliance. Although Lomax and Connor again in the build-up, bit of a scrappy build-up, but then Makerson, I don't know how he's got out of that, but he is He's embarrassed the Kiwi defence, but that side defence of the New Zealand was by this point destroyed. With Rapana going off and Blair having to come on as an interchange, and with other injuries now affecting New Zealand, little niggles and players out of position all over the place. Makinson's third try is brilliant. Again, though, grounding went towards the TMO, and I think Ben Thaler, the TMO, yeah, it was far. It was clearly obvious that it was a try with under the current ruling. Although there'll be those who say he didn't have full control of the ball. He still had his hand on the ball. But now Tompkins takes the kick and goal and gets the conversion. I was surprised Tompkins wasn't doing the kicking duties earlier in the game. I think Connor just had an off day. But most of Connor's kicks were difficult. But Tompkins is known for his goal kicking. So had Connor got his missed kicks, the scoreline would have been bigger and more comfortable. New Zealand had lost the plot after 54 minutes. They didn't look the same team. They looked shot. Either they were exhausted or they went, or both. But I think that fight, that brawl, ignited England and made England more passionate. They wanted the game more. They were obviously clearly aggravated by possibly some of the calls going against them, possibly some late hits in there, but they really got themselves fired up. And they went for it. And New Zealand didn't know how to cope with what they'd stoked, which was an angry English lion, and the Kiwis sort of lost defensive stability, and they also too many penalties, too many knock-ons. They were really rattled, and that was the final score, was 2014. Although New Zealand were trying to go for it in the last few minutes, try and tie the game, but again, Elliot Whitehill with a brilliant strip right at the end as well to make sure of the win. And that's when you see Wayne Bennett crack a smile. He doesn't smile often, but he was enjoying that. And that was actually, I think, the best England performance that I've seen in a while. They're still not, I think, the finished article. Faces in there. But that was one of the better, especially the second half. I've been critical of this England side now for a year, saying they're like a one-half team or they only play in patches. They don't look 100% on the way to being well-oiled, but they're on the way there. And I think Tommy Makinson, who is this Ryan Hall fellow that people keep talking about? I don't think England need Ryan Hall if they've got a Tommy Makinson. And Jermaine McGilvery, I haven't mentioned him yet. He put in a massive shift as well, constantly doing hit-ups, constantly running the ball up, taking some pressure off the forwards. He didn't get any tries today, but he is a running machine as well. But Makinson had just a purple patch today. Ryan Hall, I think there is a future without Ryan Hall in the long term. I think Ryan Hall can, there's always an adequate replacement. I think, he's getting on a bit now. And Makinson is a definitely good fit. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Before I go, though, quick note, the stadium was half empty at Anfield today. The atmosphere was good, but the stadium, again, not fully filled. So I don't know what they're saying for a sellout. Headingley is. They're claiming they've sold out Headingley, but how many tickets were actually put up for sale? Are they closing off a tier? Because the top tiers of Anfield today on the main stands were empty, devoid of people. The standard away stand end, the top tier of that, empty, and the Kop not fully filled either. So yeah, a half-filled stadium isn't a great look for TV. So I think Rugby League have missed a trick here. I don't know if it's the ticket pricing, because the lower stand. The lower bowl, as I call it at Anfield, the lower parts of the stands weren't even fully filled either. So there was a lot of empty seats in the areas of the stadium they were selling tickets for, and the upper tiers empty. So it did look really bad. Wrong choice of stadium again. Then, if you cannot fill a stadium, don't book an international for it. Then, I would have been much happier if they played it at the DW or at St Helens. Because maybe even Warrington or Chest, or Castleford, a rugby league stadium from the Super League would have been more suitable. Lee Valley at Lee. I know it's a smaller stadium, but they've got good facilities there, good transport links. Really surprised that English Rugby League decided to go for Anfield. It's not the right fit. The pitch is not a rugby league pitch; it's a football pitch. And they could have gone for St James's Park, because when they do have the Magic Weekend, they regularly have good crowds at St James's Park. So again, I think Rugby League have missed a trick here. But there we go. I thought I'll put that note in there. The stadium was half empty. The atmosphere wasn't as bad as I thought. They did it. They were in good voice, the Merseysiders. But again, it doesn't look good for TV, and it doesn't look good for a product you're trying to sell. Even though the game was brilliant and really entertaining, the half empty stadium is not good enough. So let's hope Headingley next week is a sellout. and actually is meant to be a sellout, every seat taken, rather than they just tape off the top tier of a stand, because that's not good enough. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.